Hi guys, Tech Geek for Life here, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can add wireless charging to your Samsung Galaxy S2. This can work with the i90-100 model, the SGH i7-7 in America, and the i90-100P, the i90-100G, and whatever phone you can sort of adapt this idea for. So to carry out this, you will need a Palm Pre or Palm Pixi back cover which supports wireless charging. I went for the one for the Palm Pre because the actual innards are easier to sort of implement into the back cover of this. You will need a Palm Touchstone. These aren't really available from shops very easily, so if you just have a look on eBay you should be able to find one for around £5. But these don't normally come with their cables, so you'll have to make sure you have a 2 mA micro USB charger. And one thing you also should look out for is the size of the plastic around the charger, because I found the one that came with the phone doesn't actually fit into the gap in the back of the Touchstone. The back plate came in this packaging, and that's about it. And it's actually quite a nice back cover, but we don't really need that. We only really need the innards from it. Right, we're going to start off by showing you the finished thing. So, Touchstone is plugged in, phone is all ready. Place it onto the Touchstone, the magnet should line it up. And there you go. Charging. Take it off. Oops. And it does hold on there quite well. Right, let's get into how you can do this. Put that to one side, put that to one side. This is the i90-100 model, and it's quite easy to apply to this, as you can see. What I've done to do this is, initially, the Touchstone, the back cover from the Palm Pre, which supports wireless charging, had this black, I'm not sure what material it is, but it had this black thing inside it with the coil for wireless charging and the connectors. It also has 4 magnets, but when you take it out of this, all I did was get a utility knife, pry up the corner, then if you just peel back, everything should stay held together because there is double-sided tape on the inside of the black thing. After that, all I really did was place it down into the back cover. I put it more so to the to the right of the phone, but to the left of the phone when it's flipped over. Sorry about that. But it's more so to the side of the phone which has a thicker amount of plastic. This is because the other side doesn't really have clips, they're just more hooks which hold into place after this side's clipped down, and then there's also clips on top. But there's 3 clips up there, and then bottom bits, I don't know why Samsung did that, but it's mainly just hooks. You're also going to need copper tape. This was relatively cheap from eBay again. Got it in a roll. And that's about all. Oh, and you might also need some solder and a wire of some sort. You could use the wire out of an old USB cable. Just cut the cable open and strip out a red wire. It doesn't have to be red, but red's easiest because then you know that's your positive output. Right, over here by the bottom screw, I have some copper tape coming out. Just cut a small amount, place it over the screw holes, put the screw in. That's to make sure you get a negative output, or not output, input, whatever, there. and then I've got some more copper tape to just extend it up. Over here there's a hole there which has a wire coming through, which I'll show you in a second, and then more copper tape over it to make sure there's a decent connection. Right. Switch the phone off. At the moment I only have that one screw in the phone. If you're not comfortable with disassembling your phone, then I have a video up on my channel and I'll leave a link to that in the description. Okay, there you can see on this resistor down here, get the screw away, on this resistor down here, one end is positive, one end is negative. So the end that's nearest to this black cable which leads up for your charging port, that end is the positive end of the resistor. Don't know how well you can see that. And all I've done from there is place down some copper tape onto the actual charging port and put solder from the side of that resistor up onto the copper tape. Then I cover the copper tape with solder as well, and then solder on top of this red wire. This wire will lead up the side of the phone, and I've just put some tape over it, and it comes up to here. The reason I've got it up to there is because that's on the side of the phone and then it's easier to just get it out. I used a screwdriver to punch through a hole into that, and then you can just use whatever you want to make the hole bigger. And on the inside of the case I have cut away at the small plastic pegs that were there. I'll put a picture. And down here by the speaker, on my speaker, get it out. There we go. On the speaker unit, I have cut away at some of the plastic along the top of it. So from where where the metal connector is on the inside of your speaker unit, so the side which connects up to the phone, towards the end where there's another connector for your antenna, I've cut away, I don't know how well you can see that again, but from the top I cut down a small amount, then I just cut away back so that the wire wouldn't get sort of squashed or pulled away from where it's connected up. So along this top, where the wire is up against the metal frame of the phone, I lined it up and cut away at some of the plastic from my speaker. That bit doesn't really do anything, it's just there sort of as a placeholder. it doesn't affect your speaker at all unless you go down into your connections. Although if you stay within the first 3 or so millimeters, it won't make a difference at all to your speaker or antenna. And after that, as I said, I cut away at some of these sort of, I'm not even sure why they're there, but just little plastic things, like, see, like the ones there, these were going all the way down to the bottom. I cut away at them with a utility knife, again to make sure the wire doesn't get disconnected or cut or anything. And that is because I decided on running the wire up the side where my Wi-Fi antenna is. Your Wi-Fi antenna is the white wire which runs up the side of your phone. I decided I'd just run the wire for my positive input-output over the top of that. And that's why you need your red wire, obviously, for your output. And it's just running up along the side of the phone up until sort of just near the top, and then I just put my case alongside it and decided where I wanted to cut out the hole. So like, it's there, and then I got the screwdriver, pushed it through, then spun it around a bit, and that made the hole decent enough for me to thread this wire through. You can alternatively run the wire up the other side of your phone if you really want to wind it around your motherboard, but I didn't want to do that, so I just went up the side of my Wi-Fi antenna. I know that's not a smart idea because it could interfere with my antenna, but I deemed that to be better than going around my motherboard and coming up around here somewhere, trying to find somewhere to get it out of the case. So that's my reasoning for placing it there. I initially disconnected this connector on my charging port board, which is for my Wi-Fi antenna, and found a way to thread my wire up. You can use any wire you want, or you don't even have to use wire at all. You could put copper tape along the bottom and get it to come out there, so you can have a positive connection there, and find a route using copper tape or something up the side onto where you can get it above the battery. So that's about it for the phone itself. You can use any metal point so long as it isn't on your charging port for a negative point. I decided to go with this screw hole, where this screw goes in here, because that makes it in contact with the metal frame of the phone, and that's making contact with the whole phone. So as the screw will go in there, it will sort of extend that negative point out, and then I used copper tape to make a decent connection. You can use any of the screw holes around your phone. Alternatively, you can take one of these screws here on your charging port board and put copper tape underneath it, then put the screw back in and extend that out up to, again, up to here where this sellotape is. You can extend that out up to here, then you have a positive there, your negative there, and you can sort of reroute those above your battery and use those as your connections. I thought it would be best for me to just go up the side of my phone, as I thought that would be the cleanest method with the least fuss to do it. So to reiterate, I soldered on the side of the resistor. So when you're looking at the phone, it is the right side of the resistor which you want to solder onto. That's the side which is closest to this black cable which leads up for your charging port. Do not reverse the polarity of this, otherwise who knows what's going to happen. But if you don't want to use any of these metal contacts around here, so like the screw hole, the other side of that resistor is the negative side, obviously. So you can solder onto that and solder another wire or something. But I decided that I'd just solder that up and use the wire instead and the screw. So that's my reasoning for that. Let's put the speaker back in. Right, back to the case. Let's put those to one side. So I got my utility knife and I cut away at the plastic pegs inside of here. You can't really see those very well. No, you can't really see this very well. But there's plastic pegs like these ones here, which run across down the phone. I cut away at them, ignore this small hole down here, that's where I had a different wire before, but I changed the wire, so the wire, I made it longer so it was going up here instead. Then get a screwdriver or anything that's sharp enough to just get a hole in there, and make sure that's big enough for your wire to go through with the least amount of fuss. Otherwise you'll end up you could end up ruining your wire and then having to go down soldering a new wire. As you can see on here, it's a bit of a silly idea, but I put tape over the top of this wire onto my case, and the tape sticks down well on this, but it doesn't stick down so well on the charging port board. So I used my screw to hold the tape in place and then just flattens it down a bit. So that makes sure the wire is in place. That bit of solder is in place there, coming up onto this copper tape, which is connecting this wire as well. Then for the back cover, as I said before, I got a utility knife and pried up the corner of this black thing. So when the back cover's facing, when you have the back cover facing the correct way towards you, so not upside down but the right way up, flip it over. So you have it like that. You can't really tell on here, but there's the 4 indentations for the magnets. I then peeled that off, placed it down on here, but I placed it upside down onto the back cover. So not the way. So when you have your 2 back covers next to each other, the black tape is the right way around in here. Pry it up, peel it back out of here, take it, turn it over, place it down onto here. I used some double-sided tape, fresh double-sided tape on the other side of this to keep it held in place. Under here I have just some paper sellotape there to make sure there's good connection. But on there you can see, let's take that off. You can see there are 2 metal connectors under this copper tape. The one with 3 dots on it, there we go, 3 dots on it, that is your negative connection. So 3 black dots, the one with 3 black dots on it is negative, the other one with nothing on it is positive. Don't get those mixed up again, otherwise your phone will just be messed up. After that, I placed down some copper tape as to where it would fit in for lining up with the phone. So let's quickly put this back together. So when you have your phone here, let's take this out. Twist the end of that wire because it's all frayed, but get your case and the phone, put them together and line up the hole and where the wire is. So from the side is probably easiest, and then look from the front. You can see where you can look through the hole and try and align it up with the wire. The wire is through the hole. Then try not to put too much pressure on the bottom end of the case first, otherwise you don't want to damage your solder joint that's at the bottom. So the bottom last. That's all clipped back in place. Battery back in. And over to where your wire comes out. Give a small tug on the wire to make sure it's all the way through. And I got some copper tape folded over the end of the copper tape. I did this beforehand because it's quite hard to peel the copper tape off its backing, but where you get your copper tape, cut off a small amount. Then I folded over the end of it so it's going back on itself. So there wasn't a sticky part of the copper tape facing down onto the wire, if that makes sense. I'll leave detailed instructions in the description. And then just place that over. I left this top bit sticky so it would stick onto the case. Then place that over your wire. You don't need to stick that down with anything because the back cover will push that back together. Then over to here, you don't know how well you can see that, but there's copper tape going into the screw hole. It's not fully into the screw hole because the screw will make contact between the copper tape and the metal of the metal frame of the phone. So the screw. That's in. Then again, I folded over each end of this copper tape to make sure it would be making good contact. And then I came back to the back cover. Let's put this paper back on to hold that on. Back to the back cover. Make sure if you hold them side by side, you can sort of visually picture these. Well, you can even line them up, but you can sort of visualize where these two line up. That copper tape on the back cover coming from your negative going to the copper tape which is connecting the negative point on your phone. You need to make sure that's lined up, and equally the same for your positive point, so they are lining up. And that is about it. The back cover does stay on, although due to the fact there is this inside the back cover, there is a bulge, obviously, but if you put the bottom in first, then clip the top, then run your fingers down the side, it doesn't generally stay on. Closed on that side. Don't know how you can see, but that side's closed. This side does stay closed mostly, but this bottom one does keep popping back up, but I think that's because there's the clip's missing on the inside of the back cover, so there's no clip to actually hold it on. And that is about it. Switch the phone back on. Put the copper tape to one side. The back cover, you can do whatever you want with that now. Same sort of build quality as Samsung with their flimsy back covers. But this one's coated in the soft touch material, which makes it quite a nice back cover. Anyway, let's forget that. The Touchstone itself, covered in the soft touch material again, but it has a gecko pad on the bottom which makes it stick to virtually any surface straight away. I don't know how you can see that again, but it's just like a gecko pad. It isn't sticky to the touch, but it sticks onto surfaces. Yeah, like that. Put that back on. And that's it. You will have successfully added wireless charging to your Samsung Galaxy S2. Again, I'll leave detailed instructions for this in the description below, and all the materials you will need to do this, and also links to one thread on XDA where I got this idea from. The guy who did that, he did a very good mod, but he did his with a snap-on case, so he got rid of this back cover, which is probably a good idea because then it will probably look better. But he got rid of the back cover and used a snap-on case to house all of these wireless charging innards. And you can just about see that in the light, but there's a bulge on the back cover of this. It sounds more creaky as well. Although it's quite creaky before because, well, build quality. on these Samsung phones is not really amazing. Put it back on. And there we go, charging again. You can see that. Connect your charger. And as I said at the start, when you take your phone, even if you don't get it on, just the magnets will line up themselves and then your phone will be lined up. And because of the Gecko pad, you could essentially place your phone onto the Touchstone, get it lined up. There we go. Place your phone onto the Touchstone, and then look, it'll stay on the table until you push it, obviously. But it's also quite funny because you just do that to a wall, and then your phone's charging on the wall, and then people wonder why, and then you tell them you're a genius, and then yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, favourite and subscribe if you found this video helpful, or if you just learned something today. And as I said before, you can apply this to any phone so long as you know on your charging port there are on the charging port for the S2 there are 5 pins, and if you know which pin is the 5V pin, the positive pin on your charging port, you can solder onto that instead of 5V resistor. So if you have a phone which doesn't have a dedicated charging port board and your charging port is hard soldered onto your main board, if you know which pin on that charging port is your positive pin, you can solder onto that and then again use any point as the negative point. But that's it. So thanks for watching. Please like, favourite and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And leave any comments of any video suggestions you want to see in the future. I know it's been quite a while since I last uploaded, but I've been quite busy, and then I thought I may as well bring you something decent for a video. Thank you.